The White House is running out of time to decide what to do with student loans. A decision could come sometime pretty soon. President Biden is expected to announce next steps this week. The plan could include up to 10 grand in debt cancellation for people with student loans, as long as they make less than $125,000 a year. The White House has stayed pretty quiet on the subject. Officials say they're still working through the process. It's unclear if they plan to consider including or extending the payment pause.
You know, I can't get into the conversations that we're having daily, but I will tell you that from day one, the president's been very clear about making sure we're leading with students first, right? And we've been proud of the $28 billion in loan forgiveness up to this point, and the policies that we've changed to fix a broken system. So we recognize Americans are waiting on that, and we're going to be communicating with them as soon as we can.
All right, well, the reports suggest a decision could come as early as tomorrow, although they are saying this week. Well, the pauses over the last few years have cost the federal government a whole lot of money. The Department of Education says it cost about $135 billion with a B the first 2 years alone. That's about $4.5 billion each month since it started. So it's hard to kind of put that $4.5 billion a month into some kind of context. But I think about it this way. $4.5 billion in 1 month is more money than taxpayers spent for an entire year to run the cities of Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem, Raleigh, and Charlotte. That's how much the pause on loan payments is costing. So we've seen a lot of people get debt forgiven recently. In fact, some right here in the Triad if they went to ITT and High Point. Now, if this measure of forgiving $10,000 goes through, it certainly will help, but students will still have to pay the rest of the debt. How do you make room in your budget for those payments to pick up again? Dig into it. Ben Briscoe takes a closer look at how to prepare to start paying up.
While we wait to see where student loan forgiveness lands, most financial advisors will give you the same 2 cents.
This was not free money. This money is money that has to be repaid.
Kathy DeWitt Dunn says while payments are frozen and interest is not incurring, it's a great time to keep paying. Knock down that loan. If you can't, spend the time preparing.
Now is really the time for you to refocus on your financial future and get a plan in place to address this.
You want to start updating your information.
CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger says you should also check out studentaid.gov.
You've got to make sure all of your data is collected the right way. You're signing up for an auto debit. You want to check out your payment options. While it's this very strong labor market, some people maybe are not making as much money. Maybe there's an income-driven repayment plan that's in your future. Compare it, look at it. Don't just do what you had done.
Now, there are people who support the president extending the payment pause. Why? They point to a few things. Number one, there's just a lot of debt out there because college has just gotten so expensive. Number two, inflation has made everything more expensive. Some people can't afford the extra bills. And three, people took that money and they just simply used it for something else.
We've heard of people going out and purchasing homes. They've bought cars. They've eliminated their credit card debt, or they've just really been able to bolster their savings, which has really helped them over these last 2 years throughout the pandemic, as we saw many Americans losing their jobs. So for so many Americans, really, this pause on their student loan payments has really helped them honestly boost their financial profiles.
All right, so paying off other debt, that's great. Getting into new payments like a house or a car, well, it could be difficult to now afford the loan payments along with that.
We see anywhere between 30% and over 80% of Americans saying, hey, if that moratorium is lifted and we have to start repaying that student loan bills, we're not going to be able to afford making payments on the car, on the house. We're going to have to rely on credit card debt again. We don't know how we're going to get by.
Of course, you have plenty of people who just want the payment pause to end. Some want to limit one from ever happening, like according to North Carolina Senator Richard Burr. He filed a bill restricting the president's ability to keep extending those payment pauses. Those who want payments to come back have several reasons for doing that. We already discussed how it's expensive for the government, but there's also concerns that the moratorium only benefits the wealthy, and some say it'll make inflation even worse. Let's talk about that first one. A study from the Nonprofit Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget found people with doctorates and medical degrees receive the most forgiveness from the pause. It found the average medical graduate gets $50,000 in cancellation. People with a bachelor's can only expect $45,000. Now to inflation concerns. A Harvard professor who worked for President Obama and Clinton tweeted this out. Student loan debt relief is spending that raises demand and increases inflation. It consumes resources that could be better used helping those who did not, for whatever reason, have the chance to attend college. It will also tend to be inflationary by raising tuitions. Now, people hoping for more loans to be canceled might be in luck, though, because of the upcoming midterm election. A CBS News analyst says since the loan repayment deadline is right before people go to vote, it could be a way that Democrats try to score points with voters.
It's always difficult to get younger voters to turn out, but especially in a midterm election because it's not the kind of big pomp and circumstance of a presidential election. It's always harder to turn out younger voters for a midterm. So this is the kind of thing that Democrats have been pushing the Biden administration to do so that they can come out and campaign on, look what we were able to accomplish.
The White House has had some wins recently with a few key agenda items passing. The decision could derail that progress one way or another. Bottom line here, we just have to wait for that decision. We know what could happen, but until anything gets set in stone, it's not worth going crazy over. As long as you have a plan, you'll be prepared either way. And of course, we'll keep you updated throughout this week.